Today we are doing Cirque Peak. It's located here on the 93. It's on the way to Jasper, and this one is about 16 kilometers with an elevation gain of 1,100-ish meters. We'll see how it goes. So these are the trails that are nearby. You can do these as well. And we're taking the Helen Lake direction. And I'll see you in the next clip.
If I were to the sea, maybe I never say forever into the light. Every time I try to breathe, but when we're right, you carry me where I've loved and I have died. So I won't hold back, and you should know that what's never good, just have regrets. So I won't go back, oh, when I got me to forget the time I lost, the regrets. Moonshine back again.
Almost Helen Lake. We're very close, and our objective is actually viewable from this point. It is that one right there. We're doing Cirque Peak, so I'll see you in the next clip.
When I drove down to Abyss, while I blamed the world then I shine right so I won't hold back, and you should know that was never gone, just have regrets. So I won't go back, oh, when I got me to forget the time I lost, won't let me forget.
Hey guys, so we're almost at the peak. Sorry about the wind, but it's super windy up here. It's right behind me over there. So we're almost to the summit. The scramble section was very short from down there. I did not record that part because I was in gloves, but I will see you guys in the next clip.
Neon lights, they're playing with my mind. Gotta get out of here tonight. Oh, I wanna run off and fly, and I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone, just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, 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 oh. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver hearts and starting fights, turning truth to lies. Gotta get up, stop wasting time. Yeah, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone, just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, 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 oh. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver. No more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers.
Hey guys, so we're at the top of Cirque Peak. Finally made it up here. This was such a grind, but it was an amazing hike. It's a little bit windy. Every time I try to vlog, it's windy. But I will see you guys in the next clip.
Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now, to where we started out. Get me out of now, to where we started out. Oh no, oh words spill out of your mouth. You wish you were someone else. I miss you, but I know you miss your old self too. Silver once golden. There's only so much holding on. You can take when you're fantastic. Oh wait, do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you. You gotta do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to put your heart to rest. I'll keep waiting as long as it takes. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again.
Hey guys, welcome to my after hike summary for Cirque Peak via Helen Lake. So I did this hike back on September 3rd, and the unfortunate thing is that I was in this area literally the day before. My friend and I were actually supposed to hike Cauldron Peak, and we got a really late start. It's 20K and we couldn't figure out the best way to cross the river. I left my water shoes at home. It was a complete mess. So we ended up just going to basically, the river was our turning point. We turned back and went to the Peyto Lake viewpoint, and then we went to Takakau Falls after. So we had a pretty good day out in the mountains, even though it was an epic fail. But I was like, you know what, I'm coming back tomorrow, so it'll be fine. It was clear the day before. There was no smoke in the air, nothing. The Jasper fire literally had just started that day. And of course, the day that I go to do the hike that I've wanted to do all year long, Cirque Peak, it was smoky. It was so smoky out, and the views were very skewed by smoke. My photos looked like they were taken in sepia, which, you know, kind of looks cool. It's a cool vibe. And last year I remember there was a lot of smoky hikes that I did and that I wanted to go back and do it again on a clear day. So I will definitely go back next year to do this one again during clear times, hopefully, because it was so stunning. Even in the forest fire smoke, it was still beautiful. And this was one hike that, I mean, it was like Smutwood for me. Last year I did Smutwood in the heart of the forest fire smoke, and I definitely had an inkling to go back again when it was clear. So I will definitely do this one again next year, but I do want to talk about it and I do want to give you guys my experience. So this one we clocked in at 17 kilometers exactly with an elevation gain of 1,118 meters. So we started this one in the morning and we finished at 10:58 p.m. So there's reasons for that, and I'll get into that in the video, but basically this was an amazingly gorgeous hike. So with all of that elevation gain, it spread over, you know, 17K, which is okay, but at the end, that is where you get your elevation gain. The last 2 kilometers, I think the peak from Helen Lake is 2 kilometers away, and from there it's just straight up the whole way. So let's get into how the hike started and how it went. The first part of the trail is basically rolling hills, definitely switchbacks, a little bit of elevation gain, but not a whole lot of elevation gain. And finally, once you break the tree line, you're greeted with some amazing views. So the first major viewpoint that I noticed on the trail was this almost like forest fire, just like dead, creepy looking forest. So after we got past that, we got to this river crossing slash mini waterfall, which was really cute. There is a bridge, so you don't have to worry about getting your feet wet. Also, the rocks are situated in a way where you can basically jump on rocks and not get your feet wet or anything like that. So once you get past this, it's only a short little trek to Helen Lake, and it's only a slight uphill to Helen Lake. And Helen Lake is really beautiful, and it's more beautiful when the sun is setting, which, I mean, that's partially the reason why this hike took us so long, because we did wait until sunset just to see how pretty it was during sunset. And so yeah, Helen Lake is absolutely gorgeous. A great place to either stop the hike if this is how far you want to go, or eat your lunch, anything like that, have a break. So after here, it gets steep. For the last 2 kilometers, it gets steep. So from here, you are going to go up this kind of rocky, sandy section. It's a little bit slippery, so you're gonna make sure you want to have good footwear for this part. After this section, you're gonna get into a small little scramble. Nothing too crazy, but basically this part just involves route finding and finding the best way up and over this boulder field. And if you look down below to your left, you're gonna see a really cute, almost heart-shaped turquoise lake. It is so pretty there. After here, you're gonna continue on up, and this is the steepest part of the hike in my opinion. You can see the peak in front of you. It looks very daunting, and this part is a loose gravel type scramble, so a lot of loose rock. Watch your footing, it can get slippery, and so basically pick your best path. There's a bunch of paths around there. I like the path to the right side the best for going up, because the left side was just basically loose rock that was waiting to fall down. And this section took me forever. I feel like it took me forever because it was so steep, and I was just watching on my Garmin just the elevation gain and how high up I was. And I think when I first looked, I was like 2,700 meters above sea level, and the goal was 2,993 meters above sea level. That's the top of the peak. So you're very high up, you're gaining a lot of altitude, and if you are prone to altitude sickness, this is not the hike for you. And I feel so bad for my friend that went on this hike with me, because she struggles with altitude sickness and she did not feel very well, especially during this section. So once you get past all the loose rock and you're right almost at the top, you will just do a very short scramble up there if you have longer legs. Thank God for my longer legs, because this part was, you know, very relatively short. You basically do a few large lunge steps and just kind of pull yourself up over the rocks, and then you're there. I stayed toward kind of the middle, I would say, So you can kind of skirt this. You can go along the right side, climbers right, and that part is more exposed. It had a lot of loose rock. It looks super sketchy, but that's a lot of people's route. They chose to go that way. I chose just to put on some scrambling gloves and go this way because it just seemed a lot safer. And if you fell from like a rock slab on this part, if you're like in the middle, not on the right side, but if you're in the middle and if you're like falling down a rock slab, you're not gonna die. You're just gonna like injure yourself, you know? And if you fall from the side of the mountain where all the exposure is and the loose rock, you'll probably die. So I picked the safer alternative and I like this route a lot. So after that, you will reach the ridge and it is absolutely stunning. The views are just majestic, jaw-dropping, and that, I'm saying that from like a day where it was not clear. It was definitely hazy, a lot of forest fire smoke in the air. Like I said, my photos look like they were taken in sepia with a sepia filter because of all the smoke in the air. But I mean, I can barely see Bow Lake from there, which is normally on a clear day like the most visible thing that you can see from the top. So that is the ridge, and you can look down kind of at a glacier, I guess. Not really a glacier, maybe it's just like unmelted snow that just like never ever melts. So I guess in a sense it's kind of a glacier. So you're gonna look down on that on one side. The ridge is kind of like a knife edge ridge, so you can continue walking if you want to, and I don't think it's like super crazy dangerous unless it is a windy day, but you basically are not fully at your goal yet. This is only like the ridge. If you want to make it to the true summit, you're going to have to go down this hill and then up. So it's very daunting looking at it. At first it's like, okay, I have to down climb and it looks sketchy with loose rock. Didn't look very appealing to me, but I also wanted to finish this hike and a lot of people were up on that part. And when I actually got into the down climb portion and then going back up, it was not sketchy whatsoever. It was literally a 5-minute, give or take 5-minute walk up to the summit from the ridge. It just looks sketchy, but it wasn't actually sketchy when you were doing it, you know? So this trail is something that I would be comfortable doing again alone, like solo. I could solo this no problem because I am aware of the route now. It is a very highly trafficked trail. That's what I want to mention too. If you are doing this on a weekend, if you're doing this on a Saturday especially, there is tons and tons of people. The parking lot legit was full like 5 minutes after I got there. There is also like overflow parking across the street, across the highway. So after we were headed down, after my friend made it to the ridge, we started making our way down and she started feeling a lot better with the lower altitude. So once we got to Helen Lake, we stopped for a very, very long time and had dinner slash lunch. Like just ate and ate my entire backpack. We had a whole charcuterie feast and fruit and just like everything, and we watched as the sun set, and these views were incredible. I have never done a sunset hike before, so this one was interesting. This was my first one, and we got to see the sunset over the mountains and it reflect on Helen Lake, and even through the forest fire smoke, the sunset was so beautiful. The trail was very easily navigated even in the dark. And yeah, that is pretty much all that I have to say for Cirque Peak. It was one of my favorite hikes that I've ever done. It's one of my favorite climbs that I've ever done. I enjoyed pretty much all of it. That is pretty much it for this video. If you guys are not already subscribed, please go ahead, click the subscribe button below. I upload 3 times a week, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.
I let you deeper.